We start with our top story. Eskom says it's walking a tightrope to balance its energy reserves to avoid implementing a further 6 stages of blackouts. The Power Utilities Chief Operating Officer was briefing the media after escalating to stage 4 power cuts earlier today.
Now, Eskom and the independent power producers have 3,000 megawatts of open-cycle gas turbines installed on the system. Now, should we run out of diesel at these power stations, this capacity would not be available to supply the demand and would necessitate a further 3 stages of load shedding to be implemented. Now, also similarly, our pump storage generation capacity is a little bit less, 2,700 megawatts. And if the dam levels were to be completely depleted, this would require a further 3 stages of load shedding. Now, the combined effect would be a further 6 stages of load shedding. So it is critically important to balance these emergency resources, together with load shedding to ensure we manage the power system safely while keeping the stage of load shedding as low as possible.
Right now, as you heard, stage 4 blackouts will continue into the weekend, particularly here in Gauteng and other parts of the country, except for the Western Cape. Let's go to eNCA reporter Lindo Guhle, who is in Johannesburg. We'll try to connect to Nobesutu Hejana as well, who is in the city of Cape Town. Lindo, I want to start with you. A lot of people describing frustration because already the rain causes car accidents because people drive so recklessly, and then you have power cuts that mean that the traffic lights aren't working. How's it looking where you are at the moment? Any businesses telling you how they're struggling? When there's stage 4 blackouts basically means that you have no electricity about 3 times in a day.
That's right, Masejo. That's the reaction we're actually trying to get. We did promise on the last hour of broadcast that we will be speaking to some businesses around Soweto here in Vilakazi Street to speak about the issues of electricity. I'll shoot right into it and bring in Ulebu here, who is from Sakumzi Restaurant. Thank you so much for joining us and making time. First of all, it's something we spoke about the last time after the State of the Nation address, moving towards the budget, to say that when government says they want to produce a conducive environment for businesses to thrive, one of the things that would need to be looked at is electricity. We find ourselves in darkness right now. Just give us your reaction of this announcement by Eskom to say stage 4 load shedding until Friday.
Thank you, Linda, for visiting us once again. It's unfortunate that, we've had this conversation not so long ago during the party speech, and what we were talking about in terms of the electricity supply, it's happening. We have no power. We are now on stage 4, and as announced, it's going to go throughout the week. And it goes back to the idea of looking into having more independent power suppliers to come into the grid, and supply electricity, as we are affected as residents of Soweto and also as small businesses here operating here in Soweto.
Often as media, we run into such establishments like yours and we speak about how this is affecting you. And I want you to just briefly capture for us just some of the contingencies, some of the plans you have to put in place, extra costs that you incur when it comes to a blackout, as long as the load shedding is under stage 4. Just give us a sense of what then you need to prepare extra to ensure that you keep your doors open.
For us, we are fortunate that we have backup. We have the solar system in place. Thus, we are able to operate even though we don't have electricity. And that's good for us. But for the rest of the community, for the rest of the businesses, they are affected because the solar system itself is expensive. Not all businesses will be able to have that in place. So we are really appealing into the manufacturers of the solar systems, to the private sector, to work with government and also all the organizations in place to come up with solutions, because we cannot go on like this. We are in our 14th year having this problem. A lot of people may not be aware that the issue of electricity supply has been a problem for the last 14 years. It has been consistent in the last 5 years, and now we are asking for government to open doors and allow more people to come on board to provide solutions so that we minimize the impact of the electricity because it affects businesses here in Soweto and also the rest of the country.
All right, thank you so much. We are out of time because of what I've explained to you earlier on, but one of the things we spoke about off air was the issue of tourists that come into such areas like Vilakazi Street, and they themselves have in fact spoken to management about issues of electricity, asking how do they conduct business in the darkness. But it is something that is an appeal from some of the businesses here to say that help us and open up the market for independent power producers to be able to provide electricity that will be reliable. That's one of the pleas here from Ulebu, from Sakumzi restaurant.